Okay, the morning after we noticed that there were no more creatures being photographed, the farm report that's on in the morning, we tuned into that, and the guy said, okay guys, be careful about your pest control this morning. I was like, what?
That's like, I remember, damage control.
Right.
After they learned we were investigating this, about a week to 10 days after they learned we were investigating the cause of this mass die-off, sudden mass die-off, which we had tracked down to pesticides. We just had to determine exactly who and which one. And we have that narrowed down to organophosphates or carbofuran. But we had, after that, a couple of days after that, all of a sudden there's a big picture in the front page picture on the Human Daily Sun that shows field workers down there with masks on and gloves on, all in a pose, all at the same position. And I'm looking at that. My father, who used to farm, looks at it and he goes, what are they doing? And I said, Dad, this was here for damage control. We drive past these fields every day and we don't see those guys wearing masks and we don't see them wearing gloves.
No.
They are not protected from what they're doing. And I also noticed when I drove past one of these fields further north, closer to this area of concentration where they all died off, where all the goggles had been discarded along the All-American Canal, we noticed there was one field where they were working. They were wearing masks, and there was a big peligro sign on the danger, Spanish for danger, in front of the field. Now, I haven't seen that for a long time, but after we started investigating, all of a sudden we see all these safety features. Then a week later, there's a big PR thing about YPG, Yuma Proving Grounds, talking about how wonderful and how positive all of the things they're doing for the environment. And they too have been a major factor in pollution in this area. And what I call terrorism from within. Chemical assaults. An assault on, wars are fought on several theaters. This is a war against Americans, against humanity, if you will. And it's being fought in the theater of chemicals, in the theater of directed energy weapons, and in the theater of information and lack thereof.
Yeah, yesterday's paper said that YPG and the Marine Corps Air Station were granted $15 million in the funding, governmental funding process. And my first thought was, okay, what are we going to do now? I mean, we watch the jets every day with the chemtrails, and what I understand with a lot of philosophy of the Indian nations is that these are like signs of, I have heard someone express, when you see signs of big spiders in the sky, that it's a grave warning.
I think the Hopis called them sky spiders, and they said that's going to be the downfall of humanity, of Earth, of life on Earth.
I would love to know more about that, but the other morning with the cross-hatching that they do with the jets coming to and fro, it took on a legged sort of an appearance, and we all want our children to live and our grandchildren to be healthy and strong, and we watched I was born and raised here. You've been here for how long?
Well, I was born and raised here. I was in San Diego. I was in San Diego for about 30 years and came back, but I was born and raised here also.
And I mean, this was the most fertile,
yes,
earthwormed whole system.
Yeah.
Help me out here, biologist.
There was a lot of biodiversity here, and it was very abundant, and many species have been eradicated or nearly eradicated since we were children. We used to go out and collect burrowing owls for pets, kangaroo rats, snakes. I mean, The tarantulas came out every October. I mean, we had more bees and
Crickets and
crickets.
woolly worms and
Oh.
locusts and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. And now there was a student, as a matter of fact, he's a slightly mentally handicapped student. But some of these students are very, very observant.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me the other day, and it was a profound statement, he said, "It's so quiet." He's right. I said, "You don't hear coyotes anymore, do you?" He said, "No." And that's true. We used to hear coyotes every night. You don't hear coyotes. But this little boy made that observation. Now, if the little boy that didn't see all these species you and I saw, think of what it's like for older people that saw so many wildlife species all over the place.
Prior to the winds we
It's
had
dramatic.
just a few days ago, I had birds that were absolutely insane. I'm not kidding. I've listened to birds forever. Quite an Audubon Society friend of birds. And these birds have been going insane. They don't sleep at all. It's like they're incessantly chirping. The same bird in the same spot day and night. And a few days ago I saw a cackle.
A grackle?
Grackle, the big blackbird, just fall straight out of the tree like it was paralyzed and petrified. And its eyes were open and it was still alert, and then all of a sudden its respirations just stopped, like it was paralyzed and dropped from the tree and suddenly died.
And that sounds exactly like an organophosphate poisoning or carbofuran, and birds are very susceptible to it. Organophosphates paralyze the nervous system, and when they cause death, usually it's paralysis of you stop breathing.